Hi Style Peeps, Liz Kleba from Closet Play Image here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. So I wanted to come on today and talk a little bit about folding scarves, particularly large square scarves, or actually let's just go with square silky scarves. A lot of people really struggle with those silky square scarves. They associate them with their grandmas, and yes, although I may be a grandma, I've been wearing them for years, long before I was a grandma. People find the long kind of oblong scarves or infinity scarves the easiest. A lot of people get stuck when it comes to a square silky scarf. And so I wanted to talk quickly about two different aspects. One, about kind of the different sizes and how the size really can matter in how you want to wear it. And then two, I want to tackle how to get started properly. And that's all about the bias fold. It makes it oh so much easier. And so first let's tackle the sizes and then we'll get on to the fold. So I wear scarves all the time, so I have a whole variety of different sizes here. So the size of your scarf really depends on where it's manufactured and what they're intending to do with it, or what they intend for you to do with it. So this is a small silky square scarf. This one is about 23 inches from side to side. You will see everything from 21 to about 23. 20 to 23, and that's what we call a neckerchief size scarf. Something kind of like the one you see here that will wrap around, like if you have a small neck, it'll wrap around one time and leave you a little tiny bit for a bow. Or if your neck is a little larger, just worn, it's neckerchief size. So that's anything from about 20 to 23 inches, neckerchief size. Now you will see some scarves out there that are about 19 inches. Those tend to be men's pocket squares, and they can be absolutely gorgeous and lovely, but they're very limiting because they are so small. So really you'll just wrap it around. You won't wrap it, you'll just tie it and square it off. But if you love the pattern, then run with it. It'll be fine. But 19 inches is really too small to loop around unless you're got a really tiny neck, or it works well for a child. So that neckerchief size. So the next size up is usually about 20, you'll see anything from 25 to about 28 inches. And that's a very standard scarf size. It doesn't really have a name, but you will see it. So it's about 25 to 28 inches. And it's very versatile. You will see people wear this one often folded and kind of in a cowboy style. And you'll often see kind of that or in a very equestrian look. So that'll be something from 25 to 28 inches. I should have been giving centimeter equivalents as well here. I'm sorry, I neglected that. The next size up from those two that you will commonly find is about a 34 inch. Now granted, you'll see everything from 33 to probably to 30, about 33 to 35, maybe even 36. So about a yard, and I think this one is probably just under a yard. That is definitely much larger, has a lot more volume. As you see, if I just kind of do the triangle again and kind of drape to the front, you can see how much more volume that has. And then you will also find scarves that are 39 inches or about a meter square, 39 to about 40. You will also find blanket scarves that are much larger than that, but I think this is about a 39 to a 40 inch. So you'll see that. And that is, again, if I drape it in just a triangle and drape it across the front of me, you will see how it has even more volume than all the other scarves that we've just discussed. Now, this size scarf is really fabulous for a couple of ties that I will talk about in a blog post later, but particularly if you want to make like a little shrug or a little tiny kimono, this size scarf around a meter is really fabulous for that, especially if you find something that has a really interesting pattern in the middle, because then you will be able to see it on the back of the jacket per se. So that's a really fantastic size scarf as well. Hermes scarves, the ones that you commonly see out there on a lot of bloggers, the expensive and very beautifully crafted Hermes scarves are about 36 inches. So they're about a yard. So you'll find everything from 36 inches to about a meter. And that's a large silk scarf. Now granted, as I said before, you will find even larger, up to 55 inches. Usually those are more considered a shawl, or you'll find them in blanket scarves as well. And I think I just mentioned that. So now I do want to talk, this is about the bias fold. Now there are lots of ways to tie a scarf. You saw me just do the kind of the cowboy thing with the triangle, right? But a lot of times when people have the triangle scarf, they feel kind of grandma-ish. You know, if they do it to the front in kind of a cowboy style, that feels kind of fun. But if they turn that back around, I probably should take off my scarf that I'm wearing right now, just to give you an idea what I mean by this. But what happens is a lot of times people will tie this scarf and they'll kind of tie it here and look at, oh, I look like my grandma, or I look like a 1980s suit. So that's not really the look they want. So let's talk about getting that scarf tie so it doesn't slip and slide around. Because the mistake a lot of people make when they want to make it long or skinny is they'll take this triangle scarf and they will fold the end in, you can kind of see how I'm doing that here, until they get what looks like a long skinny scarf. But this will tend to slip and slide and back away on itself. So now let's talk about the better way to do it, which is the bias fold. So the bias fold, let me stand up. Oops, sorry, I did not mean to just charge the camera. That was a little scary. The bias fold is a way to fold a scarf. And what happens is most silky scarves have one side that is the silky charmeuse side, and then another side that's less silky. And so what we want to do is we're going to start with the scarf upside down. So let me stretch this out. This is not edited, this is not video, this is just all one shot. So my apologies, it's not going to be all perfect and lovely and beautiful. So if I take my scarf, the bias is the diagonal across a fabric's weave. So if the threads are going this way, the bias is what cuts across that. So a bias fold on a scarf means I fold my pieces to the center. I fold them to the center again. And what has happened is my grippier side of my scarf, my less slippy, is hanging on to itself now. So my scarf is less likely to slide away from me as I work. So now I'm going to fold it again. There we go. So you can kind of see. And now I have a couple of options. If I want it wide, I would just fold it this way. Here, I'm going to pick it up now so you can kind of see it a little closer. So if I wanted it wide, I might just fold it here, or I might fold it again in if I want it more slender. So what happens is now, let me stand up a little bit so you can see that. So I have, and it opens up on the ends. It's not going to be perfect. If you really want it perfect, you can steam it. But I like to have the ends open up to show extra color anyway. So that is a bias fold. You can do it on the tiny scarves, even the little neckerchief scarves. And that way you avoid that Cub Scout look that you get if you do a tiny scarf with a triangle and drop it in the back. Sometimes that leaves you with that Cub Scout look. So again, you can do the bias fold with that. So there it is, folding my corners in, and again, and again. And sometimes people will choose to fold it in thirds in the center, if that's what they're looking for. But there you go. So that's a bias fold. That is the easiest way to fold a silky scarf to keep it from slipping away from you. So I hope that helps. In the next video that I'm going to tape here, I'm going to talk to you about a few different ways to tie this. Once you have it in your bias fold, I'm going to talk about a couple of quick and easy ties. So if you enjoyed that, stay tuned for the video that will be coming next. Thanks so much for joining me again. I am Liz Kleba from Closet Play Image. You can find me on my website at closetplay.biz. That's closetplay, all one word, .biz. You can also find me under the hashtag Closet Play Image on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Love to see you there. Bye. Oh, and this is the part that I hate, the turning off part. I wonder if this will work.